Hello everyone, and welcome back to MT Creations Creates. I'm one of those YouTubers now. The microphone and everything. Oh well. I don't know how many of my viewers know my character, Lenyll Otazz. She has made her debut already in many places. I have a list to read off of because I'm stupid and I don't remember things. For those of you who don't know about Lenyll, she is this catalyst witch, and she has access to the entire multiverse at will. It's like one of those characters that has an enormous amount of power, but they're the type of character who should not have that enormous amount of power. She's fun. You'll like her if you don't know her yet. She's already debuted in this blog post I made. I created her about maybe over a year ago by this point. The summer before last, like this past summer, the summer before that one. Lenyll Otazz made her official YouTube debut in this Halloween special video I made last year with my friends. If you've seen that, it was called the Flipper and Uplet Warriors. I'm not going to explain what any of that means right now. You could just go check it out on your own. There's a demo to Lenyll's origin story on my website. You can read that if you want. Lenyll joined Art Fight this year, but no one drew her because everyone liked my other character, Mara, instead. I made this joint OC birthday video with Lenyll and Otazz. That was fun to animate. And then, biggest Lenyll thing I think I did on the channel is basically just explain what everything she's all about in the big MTverse video I made. So you can go check that out if you have an hour of your time. Or the timestamp to the Lenyll section is in that video if you don't have an hour of time. Before the summer, I was working on this model of Lenyll, and it's not quite finished. I have a work in progress video up that I put together, and it was meant to be in this video that I'm making now, but I was proud of it enough to make a work in progress video, so I did that. So I'm gonna finish all that right here, right now, in this video. Since this is the official full MT Creations Creates episode for this project, I must go back, start at the very beginning, all the way to the end. So that's what we'll do. And it's possible that I might reuse all the footage from the work in progress video, or just splice in the entire 11-minute work in progress video into this video, which I don't mind doing because MT Creations Creates videos do get long. Thomas the Tank Engine one I did was 40 minutes. But hey, that's content for you, alright? There's no universal rule on how long a video on YouTube should be. I've seen 36-hour videos on YouTube. How many gigabytes of space do you have to make a 36-hour YouTube video? So now you possibly know at least what Lenyll's name is. If you want to do your research, I have all the info out. I'm not just spitting this character out onto the dance floor with no introduction. It's a character I'm really proud of, I'm really excited about, and I'm really excited about putting out their story, using this character for other things. I just really wanted to have a physical version of this new, exciting MTverse Crusader. And since she's a witch, what better way than to have this model be of a witch and her cauldron. Bear with me, I'm not working with a script here. I'm trying my best. I should be working with scripts because then I start rambling on and on and on and on and on. And then I have to edit 36 hours of footage. I'm going to switch over to a voiceover on my computer, but I really like this format, actually. You know what? This background credit goes to my girlfriend's great uncle. He's a photographer, and he so graciously just gave this to me with the stand it comes on, and like I got 2 more backgrounds, so I hope this spices up the video as much as I hope it will. And the microphone thing is new. Let me know if you guys like the crisp audio quality. I won't do ASMR videos, don't worry. As with most projects, we must start with a sketch to properly visualize what we want the project to look like. And then we can make a model. And the model looks really cool. I'm super proud of it. I love how it turned out. But I'll go over that later. Once the model is done, we can then 3D print the model. I actually printed Lenyll's cauldron first before I printed Lenyll herself. And then I printed Lenyll herself. And after she printed and I was taking the supports off, her neck snapped and her head fell off. And then my hot glue gun couldn't even save her. So I had to resort to Gorilla Glue, which as far as 3D print repairs go, it's pretty crazy for me. Once Lenyll herself and her cauldron were done printing, I could start working on all the props. So I did that for some reason before I printed the base. She stands on this big hexagon with these 3D printed shelves on either side of her. And all the props, all these little trinkets and doodads sit on those shelves next to her.
In fact, both local San Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand new system.
I think it was at the point where I had all the props and the stand done where I moved on, took a pause on the Lenyll model, and then went to work on my Thomas the Tank Engine 80th anniversary display, which was worth it. That display is one of my proudest creations yet, and it still sits proudly in my room where I can see it every day. And after Thomas was done, I took a second pause from Lenyll and made this little figure of my character based on my 3D printer, Ayuna. But this isn't about her, and this isn't about Thomas. So, you know what? I'm gonna just splice in the whole work in progress video I made before the summer, just so I can save myself some time on editing. So, enjoy. Hey everyone, so my computer is kaput again, and I can't really turn this into a normal MT Creations Creates episode right now. A few weeks back, I've been working on this model of my OC, Lenyll Otazz. And if you don't know who she is, she debuted during this big Halloween event I did last year. I was going to wait and publish this video after I made my Explaining the MTverse video. Maybe that'll still be the case, and I don't need to introduce this like it's gonna be new to you guys, but I'm living in confusing times, so potentially if the MTverse video is out before I make this video, then Lenyll Otazz is this character I created. She's supposed to be this catalyst witch, and she has the power to enter any dimension, any timeline. She basically has access to the MTverse's multiverse. She even can slither herself into my friend's stories, which causes some ideas for some fun collabs. And she just does all sorts of other goofy magic. She comes from the world of Maltea, which is from the Legends of Maltea D&D campaign, if you know about that. If not, it should also be explained in the MTverse video whenever that comes out, before or after this. So not only does she have an overpowered power, but she also does all sorts of magic. She doesn't just have it on a whim. She is trained, she practiced, she studied. And I made this model for the character to kind of bring her study and Lenyll herself to life. So first things first, I think I'm going to dismantle this and show each part on its own. I kind of skipped over making a video over the creation of this in Blender. Maybe by the time I'm editing this video, I'll put in a segment where I show them off as they were created in Blender and basically take you through the process of how I made this and all of this. Quick interjection, I forgot to mention that you can read about Lenyll on my blog, and I'll definitely link it in the description. And if you go do read the blog about Lenyll, then you will probably recognize some of these pieces from what I've written in that blog, because a lot of these magic items are already predetermined and they have their specific uses and backstories, but I'll do my best to explain each one as I kind of review what each piece is or does in this whole setup. Also, this isn't even done. There's a lot more I'll add to this, but I'm just gonna get one good portion of it done and then add extra details later. I think the most obvious parts of this set are obviously Lenyll herself. She can actually stand on her own, but I'm actually going to lay her down because I don't want her to fall and break. This is the base where everything goes. These are the shelves. I think I was going to eventually glue these down when they're painted. And these shelves just kind of sit here. That way I don't glue them too far from where I want them. There's a book stand because Lenyll has a main spell book she uses, and I am going to make actual paper pages for this thing, which is why it looks like this. She also has a bunch of books that I'm going to paint and maybe make a sticker cover for this here. This is the stand for her wand, which she will have because she has her wand with her at all times. Well, what's a witch without her wand? I guess it depends on the witch. This is an interesting item called the Fruitiger Gate. I made this concept for a planet completely based off of Fruitiger Arrow, and I wanted there to be a story where some of my characters end up there, just a one-off silly little thing. And I thought it'd be interesting if Lenyll has this as kind of a reference to that idea. A way to remind myself that I still want to do that idea at some point. And I don't know why it keeps not focusing on it. There we go. This is supposed to be a communication device to the planet. Lenyll hasn't really figured it out yet. But when it's painted, it will look like an early 2000s little tech gizmo. This is one of my favorite ideas that I've made for Lenyll, and they are familiar cards. Sometimes witches and wizards will have familiars. Lenyll stole a whole pack of these player card type things, and they kind of act like Pokeballs, where if you throw them, because they also are throwing cards, it will have a familiar jump out of it. But familiars are able to just jump out of these cards whenever, if they're not trained well. So this is Lenyll's bunny, Monty Python. And this will have a cover here. I have the cover here separate from the model because, well, for one, it actually broke while printing, and I decided that I could just paint something here and then tack this on, and it'd be a little Easter egg if you look at it hard enough. Over here, Lenyll has these 3 little vials. I will fill them up with something, and I am going to label them. So I thought this would be a cute little addition. I wanted to provide something that wasn't entirely 3D printed, and I might still do that with other objects. Not sure what yet, but I don't know. It makes the whole thing a little more materially dynamic, if that even makes sense. Here I have this little cage that Lenyll has. It'll have a creature in it. I'm thinking of maybe like some kind of Star Trek tribble. I'll take a cotton ball, paint it, and just stuff it in here, and then carefully glue this down somehow. These are Lenyll's ribbons. I forgot to model it onto Lenyll, but I thought it'd be best that I printed it separately because it's really thin, really fragile, and I almost broke it taking it off of the supports. And over here, Lenyll just has all sorts of little doodads, knickknacks. I think this is a frog eye. Yeah, that's the frog eye. This is the Reed of Life. Magic nail polish and armor coin. You can read all about this on my blog. Again, I'll link it in the description. And this, I don't have it on the blog. I don't know what this is. I just created some creature. And here's a box that Lenyll stores this in. It is purposefully printed with the lid leading on the side of it, so you can always look inside and see that there's stuff inside the box. And that's pretty much it for right now. I'm about to go ahead and paint all this, and then we can see what else we can add. Here's some progress on how the painting's going. I got the base, the cauldron, and the shelves all painted and ready to go. I got the stack of books in the middle being painted. I painted these drawers. I actually forgot to mention these were a thing, but I'm gonna put some stuff in them at some point. I don't know what yet, but I'll figure it out. Another little special thing I'm doing for this project is adding stickers. Some of these are for the books, and most of these are for the cauldron. Lenyll likes to decorate her cauldron in random stuff. I might make more later. This is just what I could come up with for now. And these are the pages for the book. Lenyll is just about done, or at least this iteration of the model is. I still got to fill these little vials and label them, but I'm going to take 1 or 2 of them to Spain with me, which I'm actually leaving today as of recording this. And I'm going to fill some of them with sand and little pieces of shell from Spain. I also made this tiny little Lenyll along with this tiny little sunflower. This is unrelated to the project, although I took them on a get together with my friends and she got a little scraped up in a bag I was carrying her in. Now I just gotta glue this on, maybe glue some other things down, and she can stay on my shelf for the summer until I finish this whole model up when I get back. Alright, Lenyll is now happily on my shelf. And she looks great. Of course, the model will still need more and it will be finished after this summer. But right now, I am absolutely loving how it's turning out. And I got a little special surprise. Boom, lights. Can do different things. And make it flash, I can set to different colors. I can have it on for 30 minutes or an hour. And it's just a decoration in my room I've wanted for a while already. And I'm glad to have made it and have it just exist now. And that's Lenyll. More on this eventually. As you can see, I got a lot of progress done on the model. Unfortunately, at a time where I wasn't really able to build this MT Creations Creates episode that you're watching right now. But I made do with what I could do and made a little work in progress video. And now I have a new PC and it works fine, everything's all smooth and we're all good where we are. I kind of got really lucky with the timing of finishing this model because she was display ready the exact day we left for Spain. And I was kind of bummed because I really wanted to enjoy just seeing Lenyll up on my shelf. But obviously I'm not going to take all that onto a plane. At least while on the plane, I took a picture of the Lenyll model that I had and turned it into this cool little poster of Lenyll looming over the MTverse. I'm really proud of that. And then while I was in Spain, I filled up those vials with sand and shells. I found other vials of the exact same look in the wild, along with some other cooler vials that I couldn't find here in the States, which also bummed me out because they looked really cool, but I didn't want to get them because I don't want to fill Lenyll's shelves with vials. I want there to be variety. But summer came, summer went, and as soon as I got back, I put those vials on her shelves. And now Lenyll has some Galician sand and shells at her disposal. Shells on her shelves. I was actually planning on making a little animated mini-series for MT Creations that included Lenyll and had to do with those vials being filled. It was called Chibi Trouble, and it was about Lenyll turning everyone into chibis by accident, and these brand new chibi characters had to go to Spain and fill up these little vials for Lenyll. I canceled that project. I scrapped it because I just didn't have time. I didn't have motivation. I didn't know where to start. I didn't have enough background material. The script wasn't done. It was a mess. It was just a random thrown out there idea. I decided to just leave it. Maybe this year I'll actually get Christmas of MT2 done instead. Something about this Lenyll model is that it may be complete, but it's not yet done. Or maybe it's done, but it's not yet complete. It looks finished, but it's not 100% done. And I did this on purpose because I haven't finished writing Lenyll's origin story, and I want this model to have references to that story. So I'm leaving it open-ended so I can keep adding things in reference to the story. I may come up with new things down the line. But I still want to add a couple more things just to wrap things up with this model for this video. Any other changes beyond that, I'll just post on my blog or something, or maybe make an update video. I don't know. One thing that's very open-ended on this model are these functional drawers. Get it with my other hand. Actually, move this. The cauldron probably will get new and replacement stickers for these that are peeling off. I don't know. Sometime maybe I'll make better quality stickers. Anyway, that's just a side note. These drawers are functional, but they are empty. I might leave one of these drawers for something in the future, but for this one, at least, I mean, it doesn't matter which one, but we'll go with this one. I actually found these little tiny model keys from Michael's, and I decided I would fill a drawer with keys. And I just feel like that's very Lenyll to have keys of all sorts and types from many different places. Some keys are probably from her world. A lot of the keys are probably from other dimensions she's visited. Who knows? Lenyll is a character of closed doors. There's still a lot more to her, a lot more doors to open. So, that makes sense, right? I don't think I'm gonna use all of these keys. I might just pick a few of my favorites to put in the drawer, or just like half this pile. Maybe I'll put some in this little box. I do kind of want to write something into her story that involves a lot of keys, or her collecting keys. It's just something interesting. I thought about it when I bought this. I kind of came up with it on the spot. So I'm just gonna go with it. Here's another detail I actually want to add to the model, and that is from this other model I made for the Legends of Maltea D&D campaign. I streamed it on YouTube, and we kind of canceled the series, and this is one of the leftover props from us doing that. I think I want to, since Lenyll lives on Maltea, I want to do a little homage to the original campaign by giving Lenyll a piece from this artifact called the Opener that was in shambles and pieces, and one of her whole quests was to find all the pieces and put it together, but we never finished that, so Lenyll gets to keep one of the pieces. Sometime I'll paint it or even just remake the model, because I made this on my old 3D printer before I got the Bamboo Lab A1. Obviously I can print it better now, but until I fix that or change it, I'm still going to give her a little gem, or the gem from the Opener artifact. Boink. The whole key motif is very strong, because the Opener was meant to be like a combination large key and axe, and it's literally called the Opener. And in it goes. I'm not sure how many of y'all know this, but I actually really like collecting gems and rocks. And for my little collection here, I created this 3D printed rock garden, as I call it. And it was actually one of the products I designed for my upcoming Etsy shop. I just gotta kind of finalize the design, make other designs, maybe actually paint it, give it some color, and just kind of figure it out. I thought it would be great to actually give one of these gems to Lenyll, and maybe make her own little rock garden or display piece. So I think that's the next thing I'm gonna work on for this model. Holy crap, I forgot that I designed these bottles and things for the model, and I never printed them. So before I make anything new, I think I'm gonna try and print these out. All right, here we go. Here's some of the new stuff printed that I made to print and never did, because I ran out of time when the summer came, and I just wanted Lenyll to be display ready before I left for Spain. But now I got these printed. I'll have to paint the string on this little bag and label this bottle. I love how Lenyll has a combination of like more witchy, older looking stuff that are closer to that like fantasy era aesthetic. And then she has something that looks like a Dove shampoo bottle. But it makes sense because she collects things from different universes, different timelines. It makes sense that she would have something that looks like this, and then something that looks like it's from the 17th century. So I'm gonna put those on the shelves. There was one bottle I didn't print because I just felt like this was enough. And then I made this thing. I chose to give Lenyll this little gem that I collected. And I thought maybe instead of a rock garden like this, I would just make a special stand for it. And it's just kind of like something that keeps the power of this crystal in check. Some sort of little device and holder that is supposed to make sure whatever power this crystal has doesn't go crazy or something like that. I don't know. I might redesign this sometime, so I won't have it glued to the shelf just yet, just in case I come up with a better design. It's really, the gem is really loose on there, Oh, this turned out to be a little flimsier than I wanted it to be, so I'm gonna leave this one up for the possibility of being upgraded. I might still paint it either way because I wanted to paint it. Maybe they'll get me to like it more, or maybe I could just 3D print an attachment that'll hold this better. I'll figure it out. But in the meantime, this is what I got. So, nice little additions. Next up, I'm thinking about giving Lenyll like a little cabinet here with little doors that open up. I won't store anything inside just yet because I still want room for more references to later on in Lenyll's story, but I might still make it just to fill that space. I was thinking of just putting like little jugs and stuff under there, but I think a little cabinet, like I have this little miniature metal drawers, I don't know, it would really attach to the vibe that I'm going for with Lenyll's little setup. I'm gonna stop the video right there. I've decided that I think I've done a great deal of work on this model already. I also feel as if I should shift my focus to working on Lenyll's origin story, so new things I come up with for her story can be put on the model instead of me coming up with it all right now. And then maybe I come up with something cool later and I won't have space on the model. It's a whole thing. By the way, first chapter to Lenyll's story you can go read on the MT Creations website. Might be a while before I finish that story. It's just I want to make it good, but I do have the first chapter previewed. Maybe I'll add more later. We'll see what happens. I still got a lot of great ideas for the model that I will implement eventually, but I think I should just take a pause. It looks great already. It's awesome. And I did make it with the intention of leaving free space for the exact reason I stated. I feel like I have a good stopping point, honestly. So let's make this video part 1. Even though I won't label it as so. Maybe I'll go back into it with some short form update videos. I did do that MT Creations creates show and tell thing where it was supposed to be 4 creations I already created and I didn't show the process of, but I do want to show to you guys. Maybe when I update this model it'll be a show and tell video. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll change my mind on that. I don't know. Now I think in this video it's time to go over the new MT Creations creates segments, which are, if I remember correctly, photo time, self-critique, and stats. I introduced those segments in my Thomas the Tank Engine display video, if you've seen that one. That was a fun one. I like that project. So let's get right into it. It's photo time. Oh, that is weird. Whoa. All right, it is now self-critique time, where I'm gonna look at this model and kind of critique myself on it. I think my first critique on this would probably be the stickers. There's one thing that was kind of out of my control, and one thing that could have been more in my control. The thing that was out of my control is the way that these stickers just kind of peeling off the surface. I think I just need better quality stickers. Maybe I'll get a better sticker maker down the line. The thing that is more in my control is that some of these stickers are a little lackluster in design. Like all these logos I put a lot of effort into, but some of these I did not. The stickers on the books here are pretty good in design, but they also have the same peeling problem. I think down the line at some point I will get a higher end sticker maker, and I can always replace these. Another thought I have is this book. The build of this book is okay. Like, I like the way I made it with the 3D printing and the actual paper. Like, that's all nice and it looks okay and everything. You can actually flip through the pages. There's also some references to Lenyll's story. This one here is actually a reference to that canceled project that I talked about, Chibi Trouble. But I'm going to keep that anyway, just because if you've gone deep into my channel, then you might know who this guy is. That is Flupper from Lenyll's first public debut on the YouTube channel. And there's just some normal pages. It looks good overall, but the real problem is the way that the pages just kind of are stuck like this. I'm going to figure something out for that. So hopefully I can. I just need them to kind of flail out a little better than this. But other than that, it's a nice detail. As I talked about before, this little crystal thing probably could use a better holder for it. And in a different color too. I was going to paint it, but didn't. So I might replace this at some point. But I do like the use of the crystal. Let's see, what was in here? There's some nice props in here. I think these were all okay. I contemplated painting this little box, but I might leave it be. I think I like the way it is. I don't have a lot of really critical thoughts on this at the moment. Here's Lenyll herself. I'm really proud of the sculpt. I think it looks really good. I'm proud of the way it turned out. The shaping and everything, the expression on the face. The paint job on the face is kind of weird, a little off, but I think it's okay. It'll do. There is a seam for where the neck broke, but there's not much I can do about that. I'm surprised the ribbons actually turned out so well, didn't break on me at all. They kind of have survived the journey. Not a big journey, but just like moving it around and everything, and it looks pretty good. There's some roughness on the hat. It could have been sanded down a little better, but I got lazy. I just didn't want to put up with it. It does hinder the look a little bit. That's something I'll note for future reference. You can see a lot of it in the back there. That's just because that's where the supports were. Alright, enough fan service there. She does attach to the base pretty okay, albeit very wobbly, but nothing much I can change about that. And it's good for taking the model off and getting a closer look at it and putting it back on easily without doing much accidental damage if it were harder to take the model on and off the base. I think it's pretty okay. And you can get a pretty good resting position on the model. You can have it kind of lean forwards or like that. So there's a tiny bit of customization, I suppose. I did a similar thing actually with my model of Ayuna back here. I haven't shown much of my Yuna model at all. I haven't made an MT Creations Creates episode on her at all, but it's very simple. She's a lot more simple. It's just singular character. Has a base plate made to look like the 3D printer's print bed. She just goes on like that. It's very loose. I've knocked her off by accident multiple times, but it kind of works for that kind of like, if you want to position her in any way or take her off the stand, it's really easy to do so. Maybe this kind of system is something I'll get better at as I make more models, because I do want to make a lot more models of different OCs of mine. I think it would be really fun to tackle some of the favorites. One I want to do is of the Chipicot family, and that's going to be like a bunch of characters on one base, so that'll be one monumental task. I'm going to get to that way later on though. But yeah, Ayuna, same system, so it works pretty well. These shelves are actually glued onto the same thing as well. I had these little triangles come up and they got glued down. You probably saw it if you watched the whole video. I think I've ran out of critical things to say. I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. If you guys watch this whole video and have any comments or anything, I take criticism super well. Anything. Just, I'm an artist. I thrive on it. I go to art school. Art students thrive on critiques. And because I'm talking to random people on the internet, I mean like constructive criticism, not like this is bad and you are a loser. I mean like the paint job could have been a little better in this area, or the stickers could have been cut out differently. The paint job on the shelves still looks streaky. Things like that, I would appreciate comments on that kind of thing, or ideas. Like, maybe I can add more detail to the base. Whatever it is. I love the look of this overall. I think it turned out pretty amazing. I'm impressed with it myself. It's a very nice 360-degree diorama. Making this model has built up a bunch of inspiration on what to do for the character, what to write in her story. A lot of it was created here before it was written. Like Lenyll's bunny, Monty Python, coming out of a deck of cards, a magical deck of cards. There's just a lot of things I could say about every little detail, but I think I'm gonna leave it. I'll let you guys admire it or hate it on your own accord. I'm glad I was able to work in some extra materials other than having everything be 3D printed, like the sand in the shells, the vials, the keys that are in this drawer as you saw previously, the weird little tribble thing I made with the cotton ball, the gem up here, all sorts of things. And as I continue adding updates to this model, I would love to add and use more outer 3D printing stuff. Oh, the paper as well, the light in here in the cauldron, that's a given though. That's really about it. I love having this in my room displayed. I'm just so proud of it. All the effort I put into it was well worth it, and I am definitely gonna make more stuff like this as soon as I find space to display more stuff. But that's just me. I never stop creating, and I never stop being more ambitious. I guess what I could go over are some things that I will want to add already or change already for the next big update. Obviously, a lot of the free space is going to be left up to whatever I write in Lenyll's origin story, just because I don't want to like fill up the space and then create something cool later and not have space for it on the model. So I'm kind of preemptive with all that, but I do have things I could do for next time. I could label these vials, this little weird bottle too, maybe add some paint to the string on this bag. Of course, before I paused the project, I was talking about making a little cabinet under here. I'll still do that. I don't know if I want to add any, I might add detail to these. Oh my gosh, oh no, Might add detail to these objects here, this bottle. I might put stuff in this little bowl, more stuff in this little box. I want to put more stuff in this drawer because this one up here is empty. Put more stuff in the key drawer maybe if more stuff will fit. I want to paint the little gem that I gave her from the Multea campaign thing. And that's kind of it. Those are just the small details I want to add and work on. And yeah, a lot of planning, a lot of ideas, but I think it'll be good for me to just kind of pause and worry about it later. I think this looks good. As much as there's like a lot of free space on it, it's good to have it just open for updates. And I like having things that are unfinished sometimes, and I could just add more to it later. I like having that kind of thing. I'm glad I have that kind of thing with this model. I could just keep thinking about it, updating it, working with it. It's pretty good, and I can't wait to show off more of it. Alright, it is that time of the video where I read out the stats of the project. Let me slide on over here so you can still see me. This is the segment where I read out how much everything took to make, the print time, filament usage, and the cost. I know these stats aren't really needed to be said, but I think they're interesting to do so anyway, so here we are. The print time approximately took around 47 hours to print. It was nearly 1 hour off from like exactly 2 days. If I was printing every piece of the Lenyll model consecutively back to back, it would take 2 entire days to print the entire thing. Approximately. Filament usage, I used around 423 grams of filament, which is 0.42 kilograms. And that is nearly half a whole spool, because I think one spool of filament is 1 kilogram. So 423, that's nearly half a spool used. Not of one spool, but of a bunch of collective colors. So not bad for the project it is. And the cost in filament, it took $8.45 to make this project. But with the vials and the keys, both of them were like $6. So that kind of brings the whole project up to $20.45. So not a bad deal. Like if I was making that project for people to sell online or something, I'd probably be charging like somewhere around $150 just for the labor and everything alone. Of course, the 20 would be part of that cost, but a lot of time, resources, and money went into this project, but I'd say it was very well worth it. Oh, and we got someone to thank for their hard work on this as well. Thank you, Ayuna. You do great as always. Very reliable printer. So that about wraps up this video. This video was so much fun to make. I probably said that a dozen times already while filming this. I'm just very excited about it. I'm excited to just get one of my coolest creations as of late out there. Share it with everyone. While I'm at it, at becoming a generic YouTuber with the background and the clip mic and everything, I might as well tell you guys, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment, or if you want to support the channel and what I do, visit the MT Creations website. You can scroll down to the gateway to the MT-verse. Lenyll will be there waiting for you. And there you have the beginnings to the MT-verse website. You can enter the Lenyll Otazz webpage and discover more about Lenyll herself, see some art, read the first chapter to her story, and much more. As of recording this, I am about to update it with pictures of this model and a lot more Lenyll stuff that I had yet to post on there. So if you like this character, if you like what I do, that's the way to support me. So thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And most importantly of all, stay creative.